Welcome, everyone, to Fanboy Frenzy, the only podcast on the internet that's more electrifying than Storm's bedroom. I'm your host, Ryan Jarvis, and for this episode, we're going to do a little bit of a let's play / commentary on the game Broforce. As you can see on the intro of the video, I call it Broforce the 8-bit Expendables. And as you see the gameplay here, we're going to talk about a little bit, just in brief, about how the game plays and how it feels, and more specifically, just the character selection, because I think that's what really gives this game the most zing, if you will, and most bang for your buck in terms of an action game. Now, this game right now, as of March 28th, 2016, is free on PlayStation Network if you are a PlayStation Plus member. So, with that being said, by the end of this review, by the end of this conversation, you're going to know for sure if you should download this game. Now, you will see on the screen here, I was doing a little bit of a Let's Play, and for some reason, the audio didn't transfer over, so that's why I'm doing this commentary. But you will notice that in the middle of this, it becomes very animated. And the reason for that is because there's excitement there. There's a ton of excitement when it comes to this game because the overall storyline is pretty basic. You know, you're essentially a small, non-military group of individuals who are paid to take out a terrorist organization. Now, I didn't get super far into the game just yet, but the game seems pretty standard. And the reason that I go back to calling it the 8-bit Expendables is because there's just so many characters in here from 80s and 90s and even 2000s action flicks. And you'll notice that in the game through the gameplay. You will see character renditions of specific movie actors playing their most famous roles, and they end up in this game. And I think that's what's really neat. You'll see the gameplay all starts off with you actually navigate the map by using a helicopter, and you go from point 1, point 2, point 3, and every one of these areas are locations that you have to beat a boss, or you have to complete a mission. And right now they will always break down, like on this one, POWs have been stranded in what is a Vietnam-esque area for 25 years now, and your goal is to go and rescue those specific POWs. Now, the thing they don't tell you is these POWs, the people that you rescue, they are all characters from real life movies, action movies, and that's what's so mind-boggling when you watch this. Is you will see when we first start out here, myself and Elite Sniper from the Fanboy Frenzy channel and from the program content, we're actually doing this together, this Let's Play. And you'll notice that when they drop us off into battle, look at the two characters that we're actually playing with. It's freaking mind-boggling. Watch this. As soon as it loads up, you're going to freaking go insane when you realize that we're getting these type mashups in this specific game. Look, right there, boom. We actually are getting on the right, you'll notice that's freaking Chuck Norris. That's Mr. Walker, Texas Ranger himself. It's hard to believe you're playing with Chuck Norris in a video game on a PS4. Now, the character off to the left, I really don't know who that is, man. You know, I thought all I know is the dude's got the party in the back. Clearly, he's got a mullet, but I don't know who it is exactly. But you can tell that this specific guy, man, I mean, he's definitely all about his business. Dude's got a chin of a warrior. I don't know, man, maybe it's Dolph Lundgren or something, but the dude is carrying around dynamite. I mean, I don't know anybody that just carries around sticks of dynamite to throw at enemies. I mean, that's a bit excessive. But, I mean, what happens if you run to a room of guys? You think you got time to light the dynamite and just wing it? I mean, who knows, man? But you'll see the gameplay is very much a mix of Titanfall and a mix of Contra. So those specific games, you'll notice it's definitely a mashup. Now look, right here's our first person that we save, our first POW, and look who it is. That's right, friends. It's motherfucking Blade. Blade is actually in this game. Wesley Snipes' Blade is in this damn game. Mind-blowing. Freaking mind-blowing. But you know what? What else is better than having, you know, Chuck Norris and Blade? But what about Blade and Judge Dredd? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Judge motherfreaking Dredd is in this game, and he's hopped on a helicopter and escaped the explosion. Typical 80s action flick. You literally just seen Judge Dredd chilling, which clearly you can look. I don't even know how he's hanging on, but that's beside the point. But you can see that what they do in this game is all these POWs, every single time you undo one, you rescue one from the enemy, from this terrorist group, you will then be able to play with them for a specific amount of time. Now, I haven't spent as much time in this game to know if you can pick your players by yourself, or if it's somebody, oh my God. When did you think you'd ever see Will Smith from Men in Black with John McClane from the Die Hard films? But absolutely, damn, I got John McClane in a game with Will Smith and Judge Dredd and Walker Texas Ranger and Blade. When did you ever think, with the exception of a Drunken Nightmare or dream really, that you would ever see all those characters in one time in one game? But there's more. Like a bad infomercial, there's plenty more afoot here in this specific game. You will notice more and more characters and more flashbacks and more playable characters. Look, we're getting ready to get another one. Who's it now? Who's it now? Surprise, it is Snake Plissken, Mr. Kurt Russell himself from the Escape from New York and Escape from LA movies. That's right. Mr. Snake, the guy who influenced Hideo Kojima's Snake from Metal Gear Solid. You're playing with him right now. Absolutely amazing. You'll see that during the Let's Play, I'm freaking out because I can't believe that I'm playing with Snake and John McClane. That is like a fanboy mashup if there ever was one. I mean, this game is like a celebrity death match, but in a good way. You know, all these different random characters being brought to... Oh, my God. B.A. Baracus from the freaking A-Team. Mr. T chilling right there with Snake Plissken. When the hell did you ever think you'd see such of a mashup like that? But that's the beauty, I think, of this game. Holy shnikes. Look at this. Motherfucking RoboCop is now in the game. I think he's called Brobocop or something like that. You can't really see because of our image, but you can clearly see I'm going apeshit up here because I can't believe that now I'm playing with Snake and RoboCop. Who the hell ever thought that would ever happen in a video game? But you know what? This game brings out that kid in me, man. It's almost like, in a lot of ways, you know, when I had action figures back in the day, and I had my RoboCop action figure, and maybe I had, you know, my Rambo action figure, and I would bring them together. Oh, wait a minute. Now look who it is. When did you ever think you'd get Chuck Norris and Commando Schwarzenegger? We're not talking Terminator Schwarzenegger. We're talking one of the greatest, worst 80s movies ever. And I say best, worst because, you know, Commando is pretty shitty story, but it was a great action flick. And it's the Commando version of Arnold Schwarzenegger with the Walker Texas Ranger Chuck Norris. I mean, you want to talk a man like that is just like action oriented. God, this is 80s flick, man. This just makes me want to grab an 8-track player and a VCR. Holy shit. Now I'm playing with Rambo and the Terminator. Yes, I just said it. Rambo and the Terminator are playing in the same game at the same time. I'm going crazy, man. I just can't believe this watching this. But, you know, now I got Judge Dredd and Will Smith's Man in Black character. And by the way, I'm not a Men in Black fan. That's why I don't really know what his real name and the character is and all that stuff. But all I know is this game has such an awesome mashup of characters in it. I don't see how the game could ever get bored. This is actually our first part of a Let's Play where we'll be able to go through and beat the game segment by segment, 10, 15 minutes at a time. But you can see that the gameplay really, all you have really initially is 2 buttons. That's what I come to use the most, which is just your R2 on the PlayStation 4 is your fire button, you know, and then your X is jump. And that's pretty much it. Now you'll notice that the stages, when we're playing, there will be ladders that take you to certain areas up and down. And you have to traverse those to get to these POWs and unlock these new characters. But there's times when you'll be stuck in a wall or something and you have to shoot your way through. Or as you've seen there, I jumped and I used my knife and kind of clawed into the wall, and I was able to traverse vertically that particular level. And you'll see more and more of that in here. And that's why I said it's kind of got that tower fall feel, because you can kind of double jump up the walls to get to higher and higher levels. But, I mean, the game really is fun. I mean, I can't say anything more than that. When you go through, you'll notice that, you know, there's all these different characters that they continue to throw in there. So far, we have seen RoboCop. We've seen Judge Dredd. We've seen Rambo. We have seen Blade. We have seen the Commando version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. We've seen Judge Dredd. I mean, this dude right here, I still don't know who he is. So maybe if y'all can figure out who this guy is down the bottom right, please let a brother know. Like, comment, let me know who you think that is. I don't know if it's Dolph Lundgren or who. But, you know, now we got Bruce Willis in here, his John McClane character, which, by the way, John McClane in the Die Hard movies is one of my favorite characters of all time, hands down, for action star. But it's just really awesome to see all these characters being put in this game. Again, 8-bit Expendables. There's no better way of explaining this game. Now, right here is a pretty interesting thing. You'll notice that there's a lot of death in this game. Now, granted, you know, we're not aficionados at it. I've only played it a couple of times. But you'll notice that there's explosions everywhere, and one explosion can trigger another explosion. And what it is you see all this area underneath, all these different dirted up rooms, and you can blow through them and open up new areas below you. Sometimes you have to traverse to the top. And you know, sometimes there's parts of the stage where the only way to get from point A to point B is to blow your way through. And sometimes you have to backtrack quite a bit, I noticed, because there'd be points when I'd get to a certain area and I couldn't, you know, make it to that next stage or that next area because there's no bridge or something. So my ass would have to go all the way back up, shoot my way through, double jump, make it to the top. But I mean, you know what? I was never not having fun while playing the game. I mean, right here again, how can you not have fun playing with the Terminator and Judge Dredd? There's your dynamic duo of the day. I mean, that in and of itself makes it extremely fun just to see that and to know that not only are you playing with these special characters, but you're also playing with them where they're reimagined in a way where they use the weapons that they're kind of known for. Like, for example, you see Blade, he uses his sword. Now maybe there's another button that we haven't really gotten used to using where he maybe uses daggers or a pistol, but his primary weapon is a sword. You'll notice that when you're playing with the Terminator version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, then you'll notice that he's using his chain gun from Terminator 2. If you play with Snake, you'll notice that, you know, Snake Plissken, you'll notice that he's using his one shot, like his pistols. If you play with John McClane, he's using an assault rifle, very reminiscent of the original Die Hard, you know, when he carried around that assault rifle for most of the movie, right before he got his feet all jacked up. But, you know, the point is I think they tried to stay true to those characters. And in a lot of ways, you know, me being a wrestling fan, it reminds me of the wrestling game Fire Pro Wrestling because it basically was obviously better graphics than this. It was more of a 16-bit looking game, but it had real life characters in it. But because of copyright issues, they didn't, you know, put these characters in there. So, you know, they had a Hulk Hogan, they had an Undertaker, they had a Shawn Michaels, they had a Rock, they had a Stone Cold Steve Austin, they had a Ric Flair, they had an Ultimate Warrior, they had all these characters, but they were all called something slightly different than that because, or sometimes way different because they didn't want to get sued. But you know what? Whenever you're able to kind of take that pop culture and twist it up a little bit to where it suits the game, but yet you make them look good enough where the fans can clearly tell who it is they're trying to portray, then I think you got to win there. And this game does a hell of a job. So believe me, even though I'm not far into the story, honest to God, I don't know what kind of story this game is really going to give you. I think the game is really hinged 99% on the appearances of all these badass action stars. And as I've seen, there's a lot more in the game. I mean, you'll notice the image that starts off this particular review. If you pause it, you will notice all kinds of different characters like the Rocketeer and so on and so forth. All these 80s and 90s characters end up getting fucking shoehorned in this game, all in 8-bit glamour and glory. So I challenge you to definitely check it out. You can play with us on Twitch at Fanboy, or you can comment on twitch.tv/Fanboy Frenzy Army, and you can watch us play. Please do that. We'll be going through a series on this, and we'll also be uploading these gameplay footages to YouTube as well once we get our technical stuff out of the way. You know, Fanboy Frenzy headquarters this year is getting remodeled right now as we speak, so we're going through a lot of changes using capture cards now, whereas before we weren't doing that. Thank God for the Elgato HD60. The shit's off the chain. But in the meantime, I want you guys to please take a few moments and join the Fanboy Frenzy Army. We need you. We need fanboys and fangirls out there to join our battle cry. So please make sure you go to facebook.com/fanboy frenzy, mixcloud.com/fanboy frenzy, and twitter.com/fanboy frenzy. Look for us on Vine and look for us on anywhere else where social media is acceptable. And this is Ryan Jarvis from Fanboy Frenzy. See you next time. Broforce team.